how to use the neat particle in Japanese. So here we have the neat particle. This is perhaps one of the most varied uses of all of the particles in Japanese. The neat particle is used in so many different ways. However, there is kind of a common trend with how this particle is used. It's generally used to mark the point of something, like the point or the location of existence, the destination or the point of action, the point or the time something occurs, but sometimes it is used in less clear situations, like for example to ride on the train. And so in this video, we're going to be covering all of the essential uses of the neat particle so that you can get the best feel for how to use this piece of Japanese. First, let's have a look at how the neat particle can mark the location of existence. So this use is very common with verbs like iru, to exist, sumu, to live, and even tomaru, to stay somewhere. So like for example, to be in Kyoto, Kyoto ni iru. So the neat particle marks where you exist, iru. You exist in Kyoto. So if you wanted to say you're in or at home, you could say ie ni iru.
行かないって、どうするんですか? 家にいるわ。
Or for example, like here in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, to live on this planet. この星に住む。
貴様はこの星に住む邪魔な人間どもを絶滅させるために送り込まれたのだ。
Or to live in Bulma's house. So here, 家に住む。
地球に移動したナメック星人たちやベジータはしばらくの間、ブルマの家に住むことになった。
この村に住む者たちは戦いから逃げてきた平和主義者しかいません。
And so this use of the neat particle is usually used with verbs that express some state of existence. Sometimes that's clear, like iru, to exist. But sometimes it's not so clear, like for example, tomaru, to stay somewhere. And so when you're expressing that state of existence, like here, tomaru, to stay at someone's house, you need to use the neat particle to mark where you stay, or where you are.
今日はここに泊まるがいい。ゆっくり疲れを癒してくれ。
そうだ。なんならうちに泊まってけよ。
A good way to help visualize whether a verb kind of expresses existence or not is whether or not it's like a singular action or more like a state. Like for example, taberu, to eat. That's just an action, it's not really a state. Or nomu, to drink. Again, it's just an action you do, you drink. But iru, to exist somewhere, when you exist somewhere, it's almost like you're in a state of existence. And the same thing is true for when you live somewhere. You're not kind of actively living, it's just you go there, you live there, and now you're in that state of living somewhere. So like here, while he's in Kyoto, Kyoto ni iru aida.
京都にいる間はまたちょくちょく顔出させてもらうからよ。
And it can even be used in questions to ask where the point someone is. Like here, どこにいる? Where is he? So where is the point that they exist?
人を探している。名は日村抜刀斎。どこにいる?
Or why are you here? なぜここにいる?
なぜお前がここにいる?
Or like here in Cyberpunk 2077, is she in this room?
ジュディは部屋にいるのか?
And so when you're looking at the translation of this particle here, it's often expressing in. But it's not always in, it really depends on the situation. Like for example, it can also be at. Like here, using the exact same verb, iru, to exist. In English, you would say to be at home, ie ni iru. You wouldn't say to be in home, it's a little bit more unnatural. So don't rely too much on the English translation, but just focus on the function of the neat particle. It marks where you are. So like here used twice in this next example, it can both be used to be at home or to be in the office.
安藤は責任感の強い人で、家にいるよりも会社にいる時間の方がずっと長い仕事人間。
The next use of the neat particle here is used to mark the point, the destination, or even the object of a verb. This use is often used with verbs that have movement in them, like iku, to go, kuru, to come. So like in this example, to go to school, 学校に行く. So where's the point? Where's the destination of the verb? You're going to school.
毎日学校に行くことがテストみたいなものだよ。
So like here, very clearly used to express to go to Hiroshima. Hiroshima に行く.
明日、広島に行く。春とも一緒だ。
おい、まさか桃源郷に行くのか?
Or like here in Final Fantasy X, to come to Spira. Spira に来る.
ジェクトさんは その日にスピラに来たんだよ。
And because it's used to mark the destination of action, it can also be used with verbs like 伝える to convey or to tell something. So you're conveying information in a certain direction, and the direction is marked by the neat particle. Like here, to convey a message to you, 君に伝える. So where is the information being expressed? It's being expressed to you.
サム、休憩中にすまないが君に伝えておきたいことがある。そうだ、サム。君に一つ報告がある。
Or even used in a question. Where to are you going? Where are you going? どこに行く?
待て、ナグモ。どこに行くつもりだ?
Now, some verbs can be a little bit tricky as depending on the form they're in, they can actually express the direction of action or where they're existing. These are verbs like noru, to ride, or suaru, to sit. When used with the dictionary form, it has this sense of movement, so it's the direction of action. Densha ni noru, to ride on the train. This has a feeling of you moving onto the train, riding onto the train. There's a sense of movement. Same thing with suaru, to sit. You're sitting on the chair. So in these situations, you would use the neat particle to mark that direction of action. But sometimes these exact same verbs can be used to express existence. Like for example, when used in the teiru form, notteiru, riding, this is just you standing on a train. It's expressing existence. Or suatteiru, sitting, it's just expressing your existing sitting. But just be careful, you can't use this with any verb. It's just certain verbs like noru and suaru, you use the neat particle because it's expressing either an existence or a direction of action. You couldn't use the neat particle with taberu, to eat, because that would be like you're eating in a direction. It doesn't make sense. For verbs like that, you would need to use the det particle to mark the place of action. But here, as it's marking the destination of action, you use the neat particle. Like here, resha ni noru, to ride on the train.
その列車に乗るぞ。
私、こっちの黄色いのに乗る。じゃあ、私もこっちに乗るわ。
The next use of the neat particle is used to mark the point in time that an action occurs. So this is just used after a time followed with the verb that you do at that time. So like to return at 7 p.m. 7時に帰る。
いつも夜の7時には家に帰ってくるよ。
Or to go at a time like this. こんな時に行く。
なんでこんな時にトイレに行きたくなるのよ。
Or to come back at 11 a.m. 11時に戻る。
お父さん、私が午前11時に戻るって言ったでしょ?
Next, we have a little bit more advanced use here of the neat particle, and this use can be used to mark the reason or the purpose of action. So you're doing an action for the purpose of the thing marked by the neat particle. This is often used following nouns or the must stem of a verb. And very commonly it's used with verbs like iku, to go, so to go to do something, or kao, to buy something for a purpose. Like here in this example from Police Noughts, to buy something for a birthday. So the neat particle here is marking the purpose, what you're buying something for. You're buying it for a birthday.
花の誕生日に買ってやったんだ。
Or like here, used with the must stem of a verb, 会いに行く, to go to meet someone. So you're going for the purposes of meeting someone.
この人に会いに行くんだ。ジャブを倒すために。
Or like here, to buy something as or for a gift. お土産に買う。
なんとかお土産に買って帰れないかしら。
And so because the neat particle is used to mark the point or the destination of action, when used with verbs that often have this sense of receiving something, you still use the neat particle to mark in which direction something is being received from. So this is often used with verbs like morao, to receive. Like here, to receive a Pokemon from the old man.
待てよ、マット。せっかくじいさんにポケモンもらったんだぜ。ちょっと、俺の相手してみろ。
So as you can see, this use is very, very similar to kara, from. It's marking where an action came from. So like here, hakase ni moratta. You receive the Pokemon from the professor. So just be careful with some verbs with the translation like to and from. You could express giving something to someone like hakase ni ageru, to give something to the professor. But the same neat particle here can be used to express from when used with a verb like morao. you received from him. So rather than remember the English translation to and from, because it's kind of opposites, right? Instead, I really recommend focusing on the function yet again. Here it's marking the direction or the point of action. You're giving something to, you're receiving something from. It's showing the direction the action is going in. But the translation changes sometimes depending on what verb you're using.
大木戸博士にポケモンをもらってトレーナーになれるんだからな。
So like here, to learn self-defense from Biggs. So here we can see it used with another kind of receiving verb, narao, to learn. You normally learn something from someone, right? And who you're learning it from is marked with the neat particle.
Biggs に護身術を習う予定なんだ。
Like here, did you learn it from Dad?
これ錬金術よね。父さんに習ったの？
As well as with verbs like kariru, to borrow, right? You borrow something from someone, so you use the neat particle to mark who you borrowed it from.
ほら、正治さんに借りてたでしょ？5万円。
Now, the neat particle can also be used with passive verbs, and this often has a meaning of by. It marks what or who the action is done by. And so this use is used when you see a passive form of a verb, like here, tanomareta, was requested, or tsukurareta, was made, or tasukerareta, was saved. You use the neat particle to mark who you were requested by, or who it was made by, or who you were saved by. So like here, to be saved by everyone. Minna ni tasukerareta.
結局、私は皆に助けられた。
Or here, this android being made by the Red Ribbon Army. Gun ni tsukurareta.
俺は16号。レッドリボン軍に作られた人造人間だ。
Or something being requested by someone. Vegeta ni tanomareta. Requested by Vegeta. Again though, you can still see this kind of direction of action. What was it done by? The direction of action. The direction this action comes from is this person.
それと、ベジータに頼まれた戦闘服をみんなの分まで作ったんだけど。
And you can also see the neat particle used to mark the aim or the goal of an action. This is often used with verbs like naru, to become. So something ni naru is to become into that thing. It marks what you're going to become. Like here in this very famous line from One Piece with Luffy saying that he will become the Pirate King. So kaizoku o ni naru. So you can kind of look at this literally as I will become into the Pirate King. But that's not very natural English here, so it's just marking what he will become. Again though, we can see that point or that direction, what he's becoming. He's not the Pirate King yet, but it's the direction that he will become.
S、見ててくれよ。俺は必ず海賊王になる。ああ、そうだ。海賊王に俺はなれ！
The neat particle can also be used to turn adjectives and nouns into adverbs. This is very similar to the English li. Like here, the word for safety in Japanese, buji, you could turn this into safe-li, buji ni. So you simply just follow the neat particle following this adjective or noun, and now you can use it to modify a verb. You do that verb safely.
無事に二人で戻ってこい。
兄様。 皆さんもくれぐれもお気をつけください。うん、ありがとう。
必ず無事に戻ってくる。安心していてくれ。
Or like for example with tashka, certain, if you put the neat particle after it, it turns into certainly.
俺にもわからない。だが確かに感じるんだ。
うん、確かに落としたものが全部ある。
The neat particle can also be used as a replacement for toshite. As. So like for example with this verb ninme suru, to appoint something. So you appoint someone as something. The neat particle here marks what you're appointing it as. So you could say for example that you appoint someone as something using toshite.
貴様を同盟軍冒険者選抜隊の隊長として任命する。
But you could also instead just use the neat particle, like here to appoint someone as the Prime Minister.
無論だ。 今ここであなたをエスフロストの宰相に任命する。
The neat particle can even be used to mark the point of comparison, what you're comparing something to. This is often used with verbs like kuraberu, to compare, or niteiru, to be similar to. Like here in this example, compared to that time.
あの頃に比べると。
あの頃に比べると上達したよ。
私などマクスウェル様に比べればまだまだです。
Or like to be similar to my friend, 我が友に似ている. Again though, the key word, it's the point of comparison.
お前は我が友に似ているな。
And the neat particle can even be used to mark the target of an action, often holding a meaning of to or against. This is often used with verbs like katsu, to win, or makeru, to lose. So like here in Street Fighter, to win against that man. So the neat particle is marking who he's going to defeat, who he's going to win against. あの男に勝つ。
俺はあの男に勝つことだけを考えて敗者の人生を歩んできた。
So now here with the opposite, to lose to something, here we have to lose to the Iron Kingdom. 鉄王国に負ける。
俺たちにはフェニックスがいる。鉄王国なんかに負けるはずないのさ。
So now we're just going to go through a quick review test of all of the different meanings of the neat particle. I'll give you about 5 seconds to guess the correct answer, so feel free to pause the video and take as much time as you need. The most important thing is that you just try your best with each of the questions to help solidify some of that information that was covered in this video. Don't worry if you can't remember all of it, the neat particle has so many different meanings. Just try your best. So good luck and have fun.
この村に住む者たちは戦いから逃げてきた平和主義者しかいません。
ジェクトさんはその日にスピラに来たんだよ。
明日広島に行く。ハルトも一緒だ。
いつも夜の7時には家に帰ってくるよ。
花の誕生日に買ってやったんだ。
これ錬金術よね。父さんに習ったの？
俺は16号。レッドリボン軍に作られた人造人間だ。
S、見ててくれよ。俺は必ず海賊王になる。
俺にもわからない。だが確かに感じるんだ。
うん、確かに落としたものが全部ある。
無論だ。今ここであなたをエスフロストの宰相に任命する。俺はあの男に勝つことだけを考えて敗者の人生を歩んできた。
So as you can see, there is just an insane number of uses of the neat particle. Here in this video, I've covered the most essential uses, so hopefully this gives you a really good overview of many different ways that the neat particle can be used. Don't feel bad if it's all quite overwhelming, because it is a very varied particle, and it does take any learner many years to get a strong feel for this particle. But you can kind of see in this video that there is a common trend. It's generally used to mark the point of action, but the meaning of that can change depending on the situation that you use it in, like the point that you're heading to, showing direction, or the point in time you do something, or the point or the purpose of doing an action, or the point where you exist, the point where an action comes from, the point or the person that the action was done by, the point that you're going to become, the thing you're going to become, or even the point of comparison. But it's not always used in that way, as we saw that it can also be used to turn adjectives and nouns into adverbs, with tashka into tashkani, certain into certainly. But hopefully this video has given you a nice overview of how the neat particle is used in Japanese. Thanks so much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you're having fun learning Japanese. If you did enjoy this video, then feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And if you really enjoy these videos, then consider supporting the channel either directly through the Game Gengo website or through Patreon.
You can come get access to the Game Gengo Discord, connect with me as well as the community. You can get help with your Japanese any time of the day from both my wife and myself as well as the community. Hang out in streams and just chat about stuff, and it's just a really nice, chill community for learning Japanese. Anyway, thanks so much guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying learning Japanese, and as always, I'll see you all again in the next video. See you guys.